Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Excellence IAS. Let us do the editorial analysis for today, that is 22nd September 2022. The first article, a beautiful article, this is about fraternity, the ambit of fraternity and the wages of oblivion. If you remember Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's words, equality, fraternity, liberty, they are an union of Trinity. You shall not see them isolated from each other. When you see them together, then only you can understand the real philosophy of Indian Constitution. In this case, the author explores the fraternity. What is fraternity? It basically believes that we as people have responsibility towards the other people. So we have to collectively take the humanity forward. So that's where fraternity, in a common parlance, we use the word brotherhood. It means we need to serve the other human so that he can live his life happily and with a fulfillment. And in French Revolution, the fraternity has a meaning. The meaning goes like this during the French Revolution. What you want to do for yourself, do it to others. What you don't want to do for yourself, you don't do it for others. And how you don't want others to treat you, you don't treat others the same way. So this is how the concept of fraternity have evolved. If you see Immanuel Kant, he defined the human dignity in this way. So human dignity means don't use the human as a means towards end. So don't make a human an instrument towards the others. Or don't mistreat another human. Or no human is born to serve others. Every human is born as an individual with a free will. So when you have this basic conception in your mind, you respect others as equal to you. So that is where. So common sense of humanity and then equality, these will basically give rise to sense of fraternity among the people. So every citizen has a responsibility towards the other citizen to make his life happy and fulfilling, and that is what is the objective of fraternity. In this scenario, how the Constitution is talking about the fraternity and why do we need this fraternity, we need to analyze. The constitutional preamble has clearly stated the fraternity as an objective. And if you go to 51AE, that is fundamental duties, they have clearly mentioned about promotion of harmony and brotherhood, common brotherhood. So the Constitution has given a lot of priority to the fraternity. And second, what is the need for fraternity? If you observe, human dignity is based in fraternity. Our fraternity enriches human dignity. And second, unity and integrity of India can only be upheld when citizens have common meeting ground. Our meeting of minds is very critical for the unity and integrity, and mutual respect through fraternity brings in that. And India is a country of contradictions. In this context, people with so much of diversity, if they have to live in unity, the mutual respect and mutual dignity for each other is crucial. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel words, if we see, Indian federalism, that is union of states, has not naturally come from below, it is transplanted from above. So in this case, if it has to take deep roots, this fraternity is very much critical. So the meeting of minds, in the case of Menon's words, the meeting of minds, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel words, the rooting of a transplanted idea of union of states, all this need strong fraternity in our minds and in our built up. And second important point is, if a successful democracy has to work, what are the precedents or preconditions necessary? That's what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has given. This can be used very much in your essay. What he said is, inequalities, they compromise the fraternity. So glaring inequalities have to be reduced. Second, a strong opposition is necessary for a good working of democracy. After that, equality before law, that is rule of law, and then administration has to be neutral, impartial, and treat every citizen equally. And constitutional morality, no tyranny of majority over the minorities, and then moral order in the society. Finally, public conscience. So these are the factors which are necessary to make a democracy work, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has said. Now, if any critical analysis of democracy comes up, you can use this Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's framework to analyze the working of Indian democracy. Next is a risky new status quo. It is related to India-China. Today, if you observe at the border, India is focused on the land border, line of actual control. But India's strength is in the Indian Ocean. And India's focus has deviated to the line of actual control. Is this a strategic trap where India is neglecting its stronghold, that is Indian Ocean? That is one question which is raised. And second thing is, today, modernization of Indian armed forces is going at a very slow pace. India wants to build self-reliance in the military-industrial complex. But this self-reliance to come, it takes time. But in the process, it's going to lose strategic advantage. So the modernization of armed forces shall go at a swift pace. So we are talking about theater commands. China already made theater commands. We still haven't gone into it. And second, infrastructure at the border, if we observe, China is miles ahead of India. And buffer zones are being created. Recently, patrolling point 15 is in the news. These buffer zones, India and China are not expected to patrol over there. But in the history, if you observe, these kind of buffer zones have acted in favor of China. Any kind of surprise occupation of these areas have put the India at disadvantage. So these are the points. What he called as, it's a risky new status quo. We can use this statement, a risky new status quo, as a conclusion on any question which comes on India-China relations. Next, the failure of fire safety norms. In Secunderabad, there was a fire accident. We can quote this as an example. So, violation of fire norms, building codes. For that recent Secunderabad fire accident can be quoted as an example in our answer. So, fire disasters, what are the major reasons? Most of the buildings are violative of the building code and basic fire norms are not being followed and there is no surveillance monitoring of these particular actions. And second thing, how to change this? So, a person who builds extra floors on a building, or who makes the cellars irregular constructions, these are regularized at a later date by the government as a fait accompli. What is the way forward? Building regulations or regularization shall be stopped. Any kind of deviations from the original plan have to be dealt stringently or strictly. And second is, fire safety norms shall be made compulsory for every building, including or irrespective of the height of the building. In this case, EVDM, special EVDM wing in Hyderabad can be quoted as an example for the strict enforcement on municipal corporations. Most of the municipal corporations' lack of capabilities is the major issue. In Hyderabad, for enforcement, vigilance and disaster management, they have created a directorate of EVDM. Enforcement, vigilance and disaster management. In the capability building of the local governments, GHMC's EVDM can be quoted as an example for +1 advantage in your answer. Next, trade tactics. India is bringing in foreign trade policy. Normally, foreign trade policy is brought, at the start of the financial year, but they are going to bring it from October. In this case, why in the middle of the year? Why that old presidency is changed? That is one of the issue. But what are the overall challenges the trade is facing? Let us try to understand. If the trade of India has to increase, it has to more and more engage with the various blocs. So the multilateral trade arrangements have to increase for India. But however, after the ASEAN experiment, we thought that multilateral trade arrangements are not working in favor of India. Today, if you observe Asia, that is Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, we did not join the trade arrangement. RCEP, we did not join the trade arrangement. Gulf Cooperation Council, we do not want to join the trade arrangement. And then comprehensive TPP, we don't want to join in the trade arrangement. So India is not actively engaging in the trade arrangements. In the last class, we discussed that geopolitics without geoeconomics will not work. So India also has to seriously consider the geoeconomics. Second, India from time to time to protect food security, it is imposing the export bans. So wheat export ban, etc. So this will not help the nurturing of the export markets. Any country which is importing Indian wheat, it wants predictability. So repeated export bans can harm the Indian export markets. And then in the Western market, we are seeing a strong fear of slowdown and recession. Western Europe and America, the waves of slowdown the sensibilities of recession are clearly visible. And then oil prices are increasing. Obviously, we are import dependent. Our current account deficit is widening. Another point is the forex, Indian rupee is falling. When Indian rupee falls, then Indian imports becomes much costlier. So the fall of rupee is also another concern for the importers. An increase in interest rates will make our exports disadvantaged. So these are the issues which are there before the policy. That is what the importance of this article. Dangerous movement. Now in this article, how shall we see this as? What are the consequences of Ukraine-Russia war? And did Putin achieve his war objectives or not? That's let us try to understand. Along with that, what are the recent developments we will see? First is counter-offensive started by Ukraine in the Kharkiv region is successful. They are able to take back the territory. And second, in this time, the worried Russia wanted to consolidate the southeastern region. The southeastern region, that is Luhansk, Donetsk, and Kherson, Zaporizhia, these are the 4 places they are conducting the referendum. As setbacks are increasing and winter is approaching, to increase the offensive stand in the winter, Russia is calling for troop mobilization, partial troop mobilization. Obviously, any kind of troop mobilization or conscription will bring in a lot of resentment among the people. Let us wait and see how the things will unfold. And coming back to long-term consequences of this, the first is Russia did not want to bring NATO close to its borders. Demilitarization of Ukraine is stated as a reason for the war. But today, Sweden and Finland, they went into the fold of NATO because of the Russian action. So NATO has come much closer than expected by the Russia. And second, the Ukraine is not demilitarized, and the relations between West and Ukraine has strengthened like never before. And nuclear stability is lost in the world. The repeated warnings by Russian President Putin on nuclear weapons, use of nuclear weapons, and also Chernobyl nuclear power plant and Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, how these are being managed today are also being questions of nuclear safety. And the world is divided into blocks now, West and America. On the other side, Russia and China axis are developing. And because of this war, oil prices are like never before. Energy security has got endangered. And also, if you know, Ukraine is wheat growing region. And black soils of Ukraine are very famous for that. So food crisis, especially food security, energy security got damaged. So these are the 5-6 points you can remember towards your answer. So these are the articles for today. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Rambabu signing off.